أعزائي الطلبة وطلبة الثانوية العامة لغات، أهلا بيكم في مراجعة جديدة من مراجعات الألجبرا والسوليد جيومتري. Question 7. If the vector A makes angles of measure alpha, beta and theta with x, y and z axes, then cosine 2 alpha plus cosine 2 beta plus cosine 2 theta equals one of these values. Cosine 2 alpha plus cosine 2 beta plus cosine 2 theta equals. First, cosine 2 alpha equals 2 cosine square alpha minus 1. Also, cosine 2 beta equals 2 cosine square beta minus 1. Cosine 2 theta equals 2 cosine square theta minus 1. By taking two common factor, we have to multiply cosine square alpha plus cosine square beta plus cosine square theta, and negative 1 plus negative 1 plus negative 1 equals negative 3. But we know that cosine square alpha plus cosine square beta plus cosine square theta equals 1. So the result equal 2 multiply 1 minus 3, which equals negative 1. So the answer number 3, negative 1. Question 8. If L1 straight line x whose equation is x plus 2 over negative 1 equals y plus 3 over 3 equals z plus 5 over 2 is perpendicular to the line L2 whose equation is x over 2 equals y minus 5 over k equals z minus 6 over m. Then the value of 3k plus 2m equals one of these values. So we have L1 perpendicular to L2. It means the direction vectors D1 and D2 are also perpendicular. The direction vector D1 for the straight line 1 is perpendicular to the direction vector of L2. It means D1 dot D2 equals 0. Negative 1 multiply 2 plus 3 multiply k plus 2 multiply m equals 0. It is a scalar product. So negative 2 plus 3k plus 2m equals 0. Again, negative 1 multiply 2 equals negative 2 plus 3 multiply k, 3k, 2 multiply m is 2m equals 0. It means 3k plus 2m equals 2, and this is the required. 3k plus 2m equals 2, so the answer is number 2. Question 9. If A equals negative 1, 3 and 4, B is the point 0, negative 2 and 5, then the norm of vector AB equals one of these values. So first we have to calculate AB. AB equals B minus A, which equal 0, negative 2 and 5 minus negative 1, 3 and 4, which equal 0 minus negative 1 is positive 1, negative 2 minus 3, negative 5, 5 minus 4 equals 1. So the norm of AB equal the norm of this vector, which equal square root of 1 square plus negative 5 square plus 1 square, which equal square root of 27, which equal 3 root 3 length unit. Question 10. How many triangles can be formed by joining the vertices of an octagon? First, we draw the octagon, and we have 8 vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vertices. The vertices of triangle is 3. So every 3 point 1, 2, and 3, for example, can form a triangle. So we distribute 8 vertices over 3 by combination. So the number of triangles is 8C3, which equal 56. So the answer is 56, number 4. 11. 1 plus 2 omega power 5 plus 1 over omega square multiply 1 plus 2 omega plus 1 over omega power 4 equals 0, negative 1, 1, or 2. Solution. We have the required here and the properties of omega. We know that omega power 3 equal 1 and 1 plus omega square equals 0. So omega power 5 equals omega power 3 multiply omega square, and omega power 3 equal 1. 1 multiply omega square equals omega square. So we simplify omega power 5 to be omega square. Also omega power 4 equals omega. And if 1 plus omega square equal 0, so we can say that 1 plus omega equals negative omega square. 1 plus omega square equals negative omega. Omega plus omega square equals negative 1. And we will use these properties to solve this problem. So 1 plus 2 omega power 2 as omega power 5 equals omega power 2. Omega power 5 equals omega power 2. 1 equals omega power 3. Omega power 3 over omega square equals omega. Multiply 1 plus 2 omega and 1 over omega as omega power 4 equals omega, and 1 is omega power 3. Omega power 3 over omega equals omega square. And from this we have 1 plus omega is negative omega square. Negative omega square plus 2 omega square equals omega square. Also 1 plus omega square equals negative omega. Negative omega plus 2 omega equals omega. So omega square multiply omega equals omega power 3, which equal 1. So the result equal 1. The answer is number 3. Question 12. If NCR equals NCR minus 1 and NPR equals NPR plus 1, then the value of N equals, so the required here to calculate the value of N. Solution. Since NCR equals NCR minus 1, then R equals R minus 1 or R plus R minus 1 equal N. Again, if NCR equals NCR minus 1, we have two cases. R equals R minus 1, and this is impossible, or R plus R minus 1, R plus R minus 1 equals N. So we use the second relation, R plus R minus 1 equals N, and R equals N plus 1 over 2. Because R plus R is 2R. 2R minus 1 equal N. So R equals N plus 1 over 2. This is equation 1. From equation 2, we have NPR equals NPR plus 1. And NPR equals factorial R over, factorial N over factorial N minus R equals factorial N over factorial N minus R minus 1. factorial n over factorial n minus bracket r plus 1. So it will be negative r minus 1. And we can simplify this to get n minus r equals 1. n minus r equals 1. But r equal n plus 1 over 2. So we can substitute from 1 and 2 by the value of r. What we get? We get n minus n plus 1 over 2 equals 1. Simplify it. Multiplying both sides by 2, we get 2n minus n minus 1 equals 1 multiplied 2 equals 2. So n minus 1 equals 2 and n equal 3, as 2n minus n equals n minus 1 equals 2. So n equals 2 plus 1 equal 3. بكده بكون انتهيت من الجزء دوت من المراجعة. بتمنى ان انت تكون استفدت بكل دقيقة معايا. ربنا يوفقكم جميعا، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.